Sup, everyone? We're back with more Great Ace Attorney. And time to deal with these chuckle nuts again. Alright, so we just got inside the gaff and heaved a sigh of relief when the geezer showed his mug. Give me that gun, he bellowed, and then he flew at us like he was possessed. I thought we'd had it. For an old geezer, the bloke was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter. I pulled me gun on him and then he legged it through the door to the back room. I realize my voices are starting to sound the same for these two. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's all what happened, I swear. I'm gonna try to use a higher pitch for Mario. Oh wait, sorry, I mean Ringo. So you're now telling us that moments before the victim was killed in the storeroom, you in fact encountered him in the main part of the shop. Well, yeah. Sorry. Well, we find ourselves in an interesting juncture. This changes matters considerably, assuming they're telling the truth on the third time. But honest, Governor, this time. They're still sweating. This time, Nash, this time. We ain't got nothing more to hide. Very well, counsel for the defense, you may proceed with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. This is it. The moment I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this. Encounter with the victim. When you say geezer, I presume you mean the victim and proprietor of the shop, Mr. Windibank. Who else? Who else? Who else? It's a stone. Who else? Sorry, I mean that's right. We was keeping a close eye on the entrance to the gaff, obviously. But we never thought no one was gonna come out of the back room like that. The back room being the pawnbrokery storeroom. Yeah, that must be where he popped up from. That must be where he popped up from. Only place it could have been. So it would seem the victim was already in the storeroom when these brothers entered the premises. Which means Skinny must have been in there at that point as well. You know, this is a shot in the dark, but what if Mr. Windibank was... If Gina was unconscious, Mr. Windibank was dead, and if Gina was back... if Gina was back in the storeroom at that point... Maybe Mr. Windibank felt all too obliged to show her the manuscript. And so he was just coming over for... He was just like, oh yes, let me show you it, or whatever. And then the bad stuff happened after that, I don't know. Like, maybe he was being compliant and Gina was just gonna see it. And that would have been the end of it, but then something bad happened involving these dudes. That doesn't make sense, does it? If Gina had threatened Mr. Windibank into the storeroom with her at gunpoint, then why would he have emerged from the same room all alone when the brothers arrived? Oh, I don't know. Did you see the accused at that time? What that Maltola? Couldn't tell ya. No way, Cabo. We had bigger fish to fry then. I mean, the old geezer just lost it. Oh. You mentioned that Mr. Windibank shouted those words in your previous testimony, too. However, you claimed that you heard him yelling from on the other side of the storeroom door. Oh, did we? But the truth is, he was shouting those words at you, wasn't he? Well... Yeah. Was the victim, Mr. Windibank, wielding a gun at the time? What's he ever? Blimey lummy. A great ugly barrel he had pointed straight at me front his piece. So what you're saying is, you definitely saw Mr. Windibank with the gun at that time, is that right? It is gun, it is, spot on. Then all of a sudden, he came at us, he did. It was bedlam. I didn't know who was going for who. You were clearly all going for each other. Like Nash said, we thought he had it. We thought we'd had it. I mean... For an old geezer, the bloke was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter. I mean, you're pretty short. I can see him easily punting you.
Hold it!
I can punt you. Yes, I noted that you mentioned the counter in your previous testimony too. Well, yeah, of course we did. He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull whatnot. That got tangled in some marionette, what knocked over a picture frame, what knocked over them scales on the floor. So in fact, it wasn't the sound of the gunshot that shocked you and made you knock those things off the counter. Well, Big Bruv here went flying over that counter like a gunshot, I tell you. Then the old geezer pinned him. He did, Nash, he did. If you wouldn't have been there, the bloke would have flattened me like a bloomin' pancake in seconds. At the time in question, the alarm was raised at the local police station via a secret cable from the pawnbrokery. There is a button under the counter used to activate it, which was presumably pressed by the victim. That's right. When the brothers fled the scene and back onto the street, they ran straight into the arriving police, didn't they? Poor Mr. Windibank. He did everything he could to protect his shop. That he did. Even if he was kind of a weird one, he was a good guy. Pulled me gun on him, and then he legged it through the door into the back room. Were you intending to shoot Mr. Windibank? No, never. I was just, you know... Miss. Looking out for me, bruv, wasn't I? He was being flayed, don't forget. By a man whose shop was being burgled, yes. And then the man fled into the storeroom when you pointed your gun at him, is that it? Yeah, that's it. He shoved me away, then ran off through that door and shot himself in. I just want to say, I haven't mentioned it yet. Well, I've mentioned that I love this song, but the Allegro version is so good. Like, how fast-paced this song is and everything. It just fits so well. I don't know. It's just a real good tune. Something about that last remark. Something that doesn't quite ring true. I wonder why Mr. Windibank ran away into the storeroom. What? Well, according to what everyone's saying, Ginny was there waiting for him with a gun. Ah, yes, that's right. Gino allegedly used Mr. Windibank's gun to threaten him and force him to open the storeroom door. In which case, how did the gun end up in Mr. Windibank's hands again? I have no idea, but that is strange, isn't it? This little inconsistency could be significant. I should make a mental note of it. Look, the point is me and my brother. That's right, Nash, that's right. Me and me brother. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's all what happened, I swear.
Hold it!
You said you had nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Nothing, Gob, nothing. The old geezer went and shut himself in the back room, didn't he? Looked, it was, from the inside. We know it was because we tried to open it. But it's a decent door, that one. Good and strong. Wouldn't budge an inch. So in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Sorry, getting a drink of water. Inside the storeroom with the pawnbroker there was only one other person. The sole person who could possibly have shot the victim. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade. It would appear so. What say you to that, counsel? I don't know. Is there anyone else apart of Gina who could possibly have shot Mr. Windibank? Yes, there could have been. Well, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. What? What's that look for? From the moment you admitted that you'd encountered the victim face-to-face that night, the course of this trial changed completely. It did? What is your point, my learned friend? The question we must answer is who could have shot Mr. Windibank. It is the belief of the defense that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all. Dun dun ch. This is another good theme. What do you even call it? That like percussion in the back, like this, almost like drumsticks clapping together. I'm a big fan of it. You have my attention. In that case, let us return to this plan of the premises. The victim was killed in the storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts. So pray, what other possible answer to the question of who shot the man could there be? Counsel, you must now provide answers to the court in respect of 2 conundrums. 2, my lord? Twice as many chances to be right, maybe? Indeed. Namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim? And furthermore, where was the victim at the time? That's easy. Understood, my lord. Are you alright, Reno? Not entirely sure, but there's one thing I am sure about. If I could prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely. So now, time for some clarity. Show the court on this plan the answers to the questions posed by his lordship. Alright. Time to crack open this case wide. If you believe someone else could have killed the victim, indicate from where that person could have fired the gun. Okay. I'd say about right there.
Take that!
The defense believes that the culprit could have shot the victim from this location here. And in answer to the second question, assuming the culprit fired from the location indicated, where was the victim at the time? My belief is that someone was outside, and you know how Ryunosuke saw the crime scene in the first place? Through the little hatch in the door here? I think someone pointed a gun through and shot him in the back. But that means that, I don't know, maybe Gina was ruffling through the chest in order to get the... Maybe Gina was in the chest trying to get the manuscript, and then Windibank was looking at her. But anyways, the point is that he was here. The culprit shot the victim from outside the storeroom. Continue. He's not arguing. Mr. Windibank died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death. Man, I just want to say, I really like how, compared to the first case what we had with McGilded, Van Zykes has become like I don't know, he feels more accepting of the stuff that we say. Like when we say something that makes sense, he doesn't try to stop us. He just says, yes, go on. Like, he sees that we're making some legitimate progress. He doesn't seem to be the type that wants to get the defendant found guilty of any cost or anything, you know? He ain't a Varn Karma. We'll put it that way. Which tells us that he was almost certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, the crucial point is, where was the shooter when the fatal bullet was fired? So you are adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom? Well, according to the Skulkin brothers' earlier testimony. I pulled my gun on him, and then he legged it through that door into the back room. If Mr. Windibank ran away through the door, we have to assume the door was open at the time. Ah! It was at precisely that moment when the victim was fleeing for his life that these brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom. That's actually not what I was going for, but yeah, that works. Good. Come to think of it, do you remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial? Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner. His report states the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. Oh, maybe it was Ringo that fired it. He's short. It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Yep. Poor man, shot while he was running away as fast as he could to safety. Ah, of course. He would have been leaning forward as he was running away. Oh. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it would still have entered his body on an upward trajectory. That too. So the culprit isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Winterbank. That is actually real smart. I didn't think about that. I'm sure my learned friend can't have forgotten that the storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room. Do you also claim his corpse is dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock? But... What if someone else locked the door? Yes, there is someone else who could have locked the storeroom door. Oh my god. Gina locked the door because she didn't want to die too, maybe. Is that so? Yeah, Gina must have locked it from the inside because she was like, well shit, I don't want to die, so I'm gonna lock that door so they can't get to me. Very well then, counsel. Present your hypothesis to the court. In this scenario, just subscribe to my channel on YouTube. No, not actually. In the scenario just described, the defense's assertion is that the victim was shot from outside the storeroom. In which case, who shut and locked the storeroom door from the inside? Egbert Benedict. Male Strongheart. Gina Lestrade. Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time. The defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. Objection! That's absurd! You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered the sealed room. For what possible reason? I mean, what, do you think she would want to get killed? Such actions would only serve to tighten the noose around her neck. I am inclined to agree, I must say. Well, counsel. It's easy. Yes, that's a tricky one, that, isn't it? Half-baked notions have no place in my courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please. But of course Skinny would have locked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it? Exactly what I'm saying. It does. Well, if I was Skinny in that situation, I know I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, those two burglars had just fired a gun in her direction, hadn't they? Exactly what I'm saying. You and I were on the same page. Oh yes, obviously. Before the two brothers arrived, Miss Lestrade and Mr. Winterbank were in the storeroom together. Now, I don't know what went on between them at the time, but at some point, Mr. Winterbank must have heard the intruders breaking into a shop and left the storeroom. Intruders, eh? That's us, bruv. If your theory is correct, that would leave the accused alone in the storeroom. Yes, it would. Then, probably only moments later, the victim fled back through the storeroom door, hoping to escape danger. Bane. Shot in the back. Dead. Instant. Shot through the heart. And Nash is to blame. You give burglars a bad name. Hit in the back by the bullet, Mr. Winterbank fell to the floor where he was, just inside the storeroom. And what we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in that moment? I see where you're going with this. Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer who had just murdered Mr. Winterbank. As soon as that thought struck Miss Lestrade, she slammed the door shut and locked it, in order to save her own life. Hold it! Who? Wait, oh, that's what you sound like. I was just like, who is that? Is that one of the jurors? And I was like, nope, that's you. Interesting. I'm still gonna go with the Luigi voice, so I like doing it. But I mean, we ain't the ones who done it. We ain't, Gov, we ain't. You gotta believe us. I mean, come on, we never shoot no one.
Objection.
That's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact that you would. Because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Sherlock Sholmes. What am I saying? Man, must be really out of it today. There's only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you brothers had every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Windibank's murder. Now, where does this leave us? You mean to say it wasn't the pickpocket who shot the pawnbroker at all? I should have known it was those three brothers. They look as shady as a dense forest. That was amazing, Runo. All the members of the jury seem to be firmly on your side now. I know, first time ever. And probably the last. Well, I think you've done it. Surely they'll have to give a verdict of it not... Uh-oh. An admirable effort, my learned friend. What's this now? He's laughing? You find the situation amusing, Lord Van Zykes. I myself find the defendant's argument most persuasive. You gonna destroy a third chalice? I dare say. Such chicanery is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial eastern nation. But such blatantly malicious conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than inexcusable pettifoggery here. Man, he's pulling out the entire frickin' thesaurus on us. What? The hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly, credibly cannot and will not stand. Because, you see, it contains a fatal flaw. I'm assuming you're going to talk about the amount of bullets in the gun. A fatal flaw? Do you mean to tell me that you are unaware of your logic's failing? I say, Lord Van Zykes. Might be an idea to explain this bally conjuring trick or whatever it is to the troops on the ground. The fatal flaw in my learned friend's argument is really very simple to understand. Chalice number 3 destroyed. Assuming you're not too dim-witted to count bullets. By George, count bullets? Oh dear. He noticed then. Iris was just like, yeah, I'll get out on... We'll get Jenny out on false charges. I don't know. Huh. What's everyone talking... Ryunosuke... Listen, I know you only studied law in like 2 months or whatever. Or 50 days. But like, damn, man. You would think you would have realized this. Counsel. Yes, sir. Tell the court how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime. 2 bullets. You know, I've realized that Van Zykes has never called us by name. He's either called us Nipponese, Easterner, Council, or something. Who knows? Maybe this game will end on him calling us by our actual name as like a sign of respect. Who knows? Correct. The first, that which hit the victim in the back, ending his life. And the second, that which struck the detective, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes, on his arrival at the scene. Indeed. The defense presented a picture showing the damage caused by the second bullet earlier in the proceedings. Yep. The bullet which injured Mr. Sholmes appears to have passed through his body to strike the calendar. Yep. Your lordship's understanding is correct. Furthermore, we know there are 2 firearms involved in the incident. The revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Winterbank, and the Skulkin brothers' revolver. The evidence shows that a single bullet was fired from each gun. Yes, indeed it does. A single bullet from each. Now then, my learned friend. Shifty eyes. You yourself told the court only moments ago that these 2 brothers shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes right before your eyes. Yes, I did. Oh my goodness, I think you'll find. And if a single bullet is fired from your brother's gun hit Mr. Sholmes, it means... Winterbank not shot by same gun, only 1 bullet. Exactly. Yes, this Nipponese street performer presented an ostensibly credible argument. However, it was never anything more than a versionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny. Duh. Ah! Dead. I have fallen, and I cannot get up. Order, order, order! 1 bottle destroyed. Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hallowed nectar into the public gallery. So that's 3 chalices and 1 bottle. Lord Van Zykes! But this court needs to open its eyes. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can regrettably no longer be described as a juvenile. No, the person in the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She has a past riddled with criminal conduct. Uh-oh. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question with loathsome intent. As we can see beyond doubt in this print which depicts her threatening the victim with the murder weapon. And I have here in my possession 1 more piece of evidence the prosecution wishes to present. Ah, the frickin' disc. That disc! We haven't seen it since we saw that dude. I'll be taking that whatever it is in McGilda's down to the yard, thank you very much. No, don't give it to him, it's mine, that is, mine. I'm sorry, miss, but anything belonging to McGilda has to be taken in as evidence now. Yes, that music box disc, Mr. McGilda's music box disc. The very day before the hateful murder of Mr. Winterbank, the accused attempt to make off with this article which clearly doesn't belong to her. And with none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, but by brute force and brazen impudence. Good gracious! Make no mistake, any sympathy for the accused on account of her years is misguided and dangerous. There are no depths to which this girl would not stoop if pushed, no crime she would not commit. The court forgets that fact at its peril. Oh, shut up. I see. I think it would be prudent to take this music box disc to evidence counsel as a grim testament to the defendants. That was Gregson's voice? I have not... Damn. I was not expecting that. Inspector Gregson? What? Yes, Inspector. We had a meeting yesterday at the yard with the prosecution service, and I think it was agreed that the disc wouldn't be used as evidence. Oh, what's this about? What's this all about? Why is the inspector acting strangely? That's the first time he said anything to Van Zykes at all. I am unaware of any such meeting. What? But those were the instructions right from the top. The government bigwigs were insistent. Inspector, I am the prosecutor, and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted. Thank you. Damn. The prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord. Indeed. Bailiff. Okay, there we go. I wonder when we're gonna connect this to the other case. Wait. Oh shoot. We need to test this for a blood sample, but we're in court. I don't know if that's gonna fly. The prosecution has established the accused's motive, opportunity, and baseness of character. There is nothing more to add. Finet. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions, and rest my case. Oh boy. Here it goes. Yet again. I don't believe it. I have the jury on my side for once for all of 5 minutes. Oh dear. Wasn't even for 5 minutes, Bruno. My lord. Wonder if I might say something at this point. Proceed, Mr. Foreman. Proceed, Mr. Foreman. Been stumbling about in a bit of fog up to now, if truth be told, but all of a sudden, the answer's barely obvious to me and my men. There's only one thing for it. Oh no. Very well. The court will hear from the jury. Here we go again. Aw shit. Here we go again. It's only like one episode later and we're already back into another one. Ladies and gentlemen, you will present your leanings as to the defense's culpability.
Guilty.
There it is.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Boom, 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 boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're dead. Oh, we hella dead. We have a consensus among the jury, it seems. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Wait a second. Huh. I've heard that line somewhere before. I don't remember if it was this series. Hold up. Okay, so apparently that quote is straight said from Sherlock Holmes. By Sherlock Holmes. Wow. Interesting. I haven't seen that before. That's my line. I wrote that for Hurley. Oh, shoot. Oh, how dare he use it against us? That's actually pretty good. Don't worry, Iris. I don't think we're finished yet. Still more to this case than we realize. There must be, because there's one thing that I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windibank. That's beyond any doubt. Very well. We will proceed with the second summation examination of the day. Mr. Foreman, are you and the other jurors ready? Garradim's squadron is primed and ready for action, sir. Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have now determined the defendant to be guilty. Here we go. Number 2. Imagine if we did 3 summation examinations in this one. That'd be insane. Once a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different breed to us law-abiding citizens. As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted. You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was that pickpocket. I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief. The accused attempted a theft on the previous day. I can see I'm in for a busy day ahead. I'm trying to change your voice a bit. I am ballistic expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns. Well then. We're probably gonna have to go for villain Bolshevik again. It would seem there's little remaining room for doubt. I have to admit I was rather bowled over by the argument put forth by the chap in black. But when that fell apart like a house of cards, I saw that I'd jolly well be hoodwinked. Well, no more. The whole courtroom is turning against me again. Mom, I'm scared. Pick me up. I want to go home. It's not fair. Iris? That prosecutor's being mean. Just because Ginny's done something she shouldn't have done in the past. That doesn't make her a murderer. What was that, small child? I couldn't hear you over how short you are. Short child. Little baby. What are you gonna do, cry about it? Allow me to savor this fruity vintage while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter. Yes. Here's to the truth coming out. Eventually. Do the clap. Oh, never mind. I thought he was gonna do the face clap again. That's enough preamble. Counsel, proceed with the summation examination. Clap. There it is. Focus. Yes, my lord. Jury examinations. The defense's rebuttal. I like how you can't even freaking see Ringo. You can see him, like, right above the options button there, but that's it. Alright. Well, we're only at 36 minutes. I'll get a bit into this, at least. Just because Mrs. Straight has a history of pickpocketing, she must be guilty of murder. Is that what you're saying? Oh, well. Are all members of the British Army so quick to judge? I beg your pardon? Are you mocking Her Majesty's Armed Forces? The greatest military organization in the world? No, I'm simply illustrating my point. Making assumptions about people because they're a soldier or a pickpocket is wrong and dangerous. Well, yes, might have a point there, I suppose. But let's not forget the girl had already shown she had it in her from before. She's clearly a criminal sort through and through. Can't deny it. When you say that she'd shown she had it in her, are you referring to this? Exactly. Tried to swipe that only a day earlier, or am I mistaken? Not exactly. Given that I was actually there at the time, it's hard to refute that. I've never actually seen the real thing. I can't wait to have a closer look at it. Oh yes, of course. Oh god, I haven't voiced Sholmes in a while. Mr. Sholmes did use his caramel bars to make a copy of the disc, didn't he? Didn't order at every type of music box he could find from across Europe. Never mind, I'm not voicing him. We still don't know what tune it plays though, do we? But I'd love to see how the original compares to Hurley's copy. Gilded's disc. Could it be a clue somehow? Perhaps we should examine it in more detail. Aha, I know. Maybe now that we have it in the court record. Yeah, we examine this and we do it. Oh, Bruno, look! This is blood! Yes, you're right. Just a small smear, but definitely blood. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed that before. Haha, then it's my time to shine again. I thought I'd be waiting forever. Alright, hold still with that disc, Bruno. Can we get this done quickly, Iris? In a flash. Alright, what color? Is it a fourth color? Or a matching one? Green? Sholmes' blood. Oh, a lovely bright shade again. No. How can it... What? But we clearly saw that dude get... That dude got his thumb or finger cut or whatever, and that's how the blood got on there, right? So why the hell is Sholmes... No. Maybe unless it's based on blood type, in which case they might have the same blood type, I don't know. Wait, that color. What is it? It's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen that color, is it? Oh, shit. Hold up. Wait, so this is why does it say unknown? It says unknown for both of these, but... I mean, if it... This obviously has to be Sholmes' blood, right? Then why... I'm so confused.
Hold it!
Okay, put that on the back burner. It's the number of bullets that has you convinced. Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them have been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asked me how many are invited for dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings. Well, that's logical, I suppose. Although, yes, sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china. Does your employer dine with thieves? So I suppose, if there was another bullet somewhere of which we were unaware, I'd have to reconsider my position. 3rd bullet somewhere on the scene. Could that be possible? Let me... Maybe we have to come back to this later, but so I'm gonna save and... I don't know. This could be... I don't know. Let's say it's impossible. Unfortunately, the 2 bullets were discovered by the police during their investigation. Yes, I know. Right. And I don't imagine the good men of Scotland Yard would have overlooked anything. If I missed a bullet while I was cleaning his lordship's office, well... I should receive a sound scolding, I don't doubt. And he should receive a visit from the police, perhaps. Sounds like a crime scene to me. A 3rd bullet. Would completely turn things around if there was one, wouldn't it? Do you think we might find one lying around somewhere? That sounds like a big thing, but the question is, where would we even see one?
Hold it!
So if I've understood correctly, you need 2 pictures, the left eye and a slightly different right one.
Yeah, exactly. Then you can see the scene in 3 dimensions like this.
2 bullets, I suppose you're which one of them.
I think you'll find that no matter how much you squint, the truth of the situation always looks the same here. The only person who could have shot the victim is that girl in the dock.
How can you be so sure of that?
Think about it. The Skulkin brothers shot the great detective, didn't they?
Yes, that's been mentioned once or twice.
Well, then surely it's coming into focus now, isn't it?
This is a waste of time. I'm not gonna change this man's mind anytime soon. Press the old man again. Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here.
Hey, well, the thing is, I couldn't really say there's nothing to do with this trial, to be honest.
Huh?
I mean, there's no question that the man was shot. The bullet simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite inexplicable, don't you think?
Wait a second. Oh my god, I just came up with something. Oh my god. Wait. Okay. What if the bullet didn't exit Sholmes? What if it got lodged? Okay. If the bullet got lodged in his stomach, and there wasn't an entry point, there wasn't an exit wound or something, then we wouldn't know. Oh, I was under the impression that the blood was Sholmes on the calendar, and it spattered on there from when it exited his back. But if it was lodged in, then maybe the bullet in the calendar, that would... Oh my god. Wait. Green blood. The green blood on the disc is from Egbert Benedict. And if there's green blood on the calendar, then oh my god, it's his. He was there. He was there at the shop. Because the freaking brothers, they said, like, Nash was about to say something, Luigi over there. He was gonna say something, and then Ringo, aka Mario, was just like, "Hey brother, you can't do that. He'll have our heads," or something like that. Are they talking about Egbert Benedict? Are they like blackmailed by him or something? Oh god. Oh, well that's one way to tie that dude into this case. I mean, clearly he's gonna be relevant somehow after he showed up at the start of it, but oh damn. I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering about all this time, you were operating on Sherlock Sholmes.
What was the fellow's name now? Herlock. No, Herlock. No, Herlock.
Sherlock Sholmes by any chance?
Yes, good lord. It was that Herlock fellow.
Oh my god. This old man has been involved in 2 cases in a row. Both as a juror and directly involved. What? You're the surgeon that operated on Mr. Sholmes?
Yes, well, using the very latest anesthesia techniques, I might add. It was a fairly major op, I can tell you.
This is crazy.
Let me see, the fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. He said he'd been shot by some criminal or other, so I opened him up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his insides with a fine-tooth comb and couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I had to throw up my hands and just stitch the fellow back up.
I hate to state the obvious, but
Yes?
surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting.
The counsel for the...
Okay.
The counsel for the defense is correct. As is clearly shown in this photographic print, the bullet the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Sholmes hit him in the stomach region, then exited his body.
Oh, sorry, that's Rinosuke speaking now. Then exited his body and lodged into the shop wall where the calendar is hanging by the door. I think you'll find it's really quite simple if you look if you just consider the problem 3-dimensionally.
Hey, who do you think I am, son?
Well, juror number 4 is about the best I can do. You were juror number 6, but now you're 4.
As soon as I saw the wound to the man's stomach, I flipped him over.
Like a pancake? Are you saying that you checked his back?
Of course I did, and there wasn't a trace of injury. No sign that the bullet had left the body at all.
Oh my god. What?
It's the point. The only logical conclusion was that the bullet was still somewhere in the man's innards. Which is exactly why I said about slicing him up. And I'm still none the wiser even now. How many times do I have to say it? Can someone please explain to me how it happened? Can someone please solve the mystery?
It's almost as much of a mystery as how this jury is put together. You're not wrong. Oh man.
Mystery of where that bullet ended up is infuriating. Where's an expert when you need one?
Ballistics expert. Oh. Okay. Alright. Well, I guess next time on Great Ace Attorney, we'll continue and... oh man. Stuff is starting to get real. Next time on Great Ace Attorney, we're going to continue this summation examination and get to the bottom of what happened to Sholmes and where the 3rd bullet is. Adios, ciao, and bye-bye. Signing off until next time. Ja, mata ne.